Welcome back to Thought Provoking, where I provoke your thought. Today, I wanted to talk about feminism, how it's transformed, and how women became a sex symbol and how that has evolved. And in the end, I will provide some of my own opinions on the matter. And I do this so we can start a conversation. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Let me know your opinions. Let me know if you feel I'm right or wrong, indifferent, if I've missed something. Let me know. So let's jump right into it. I kind of got to the feminism part in a sense because initially I was thinking about how Playboy played a role in allowing women to show themselves sexually, allowing women to just not cover up and show that to the world whether someone felt comfortable or uncomfortable. And I took a look back to see what was going on around the time feminism or Playboy started, and it started in 1953. And around this time, it was booming for women and feminism. It was basically the start of feminism and the start of women wanting to be seen, not just as a housewife, not just as a mother, but seen as a person. And I feel like when women got to that point and Playboy came out, it was like, well, now I have an outlet. Now I have something to show that not only can I be a wife, not only can I be a mother, but I can also be good looking and have wits and be smart. But that's not necessarily where it went. Now, when we look back to the 1950s, we'll see that women still in the masses weren't comfortable with women being out there. So Playboy didn't necessarily take off in this time, but it's when it started. And also we have to think that in the 50s we were in a war, not we, because I most definitely wasn't even alive. But we were in a war and the men were gone and women were basically forced to go out into the world and work and provide for their families because the men weren't there. And women were kind of forced into the workforce also. They didn't have an option because if they wanted their families to survive, they had to go and make some money. And some women didn't know if their husbands were going to come back from the war. So we have that, and when the war kind of ended and men started coming back, they expected their wives to go back to being wives and mothers and not working class women. And even in this time, there were commercials put out saying that trying to encourage women to go back home and go back and being mothers, but they didn't feel that was necessary. They felt like they wanted to be out there. They loved working, not necessarily loved, but they felt comfortable. They felt like it was something that they didn't know they were missing in their lives, to not just be seen as someone's mother, but to be seen as an individual. And so when women started working, it was more of, well, who's going to take care of the children? So schools started opening up and daycares and curriculums started becoming more and more popular, more and more of a thing. And when things began to subside, you had people, when they came back from war, missing their wives, missing their loved ones. And you had nuclear family homes, meaning you had multiple families living in one home. It wasn't like today, how it was just a man, his wife, and the children. It was also generations, your mom, your great grandma, your wife's mom, your wife's great grandpa. So with this came a lack of privacy for the younger couples. And luckily, around this time, cars were becoming more and more accessible. So, surprisingly enough, cars were to blame for premarital sex. And when I saw this, I thought, that's interesting because what? But in a sense, it's saying that when I really just wanted to throw that in there because I thought it was funny. I just imagined a whole scenario of never mind. I just thought it was funny, but let's continue. And so this started opening doors, and it's not just for women, it was for men also. They felt like they could explore their sexualities more, and this was basically unheard of for both because some men did not feel comfortable doing more than missionary and didn't feel comfortable with women taking control in any sense. But then when the sexual liberation thing started coming out, they felt more comfortable to explore their desires in any way and not feel judged about it. So, I guess what I want to talk about is how women were able to go out and see that, I think I can, do the do. Not only men can do the do, but I should feel comfortable. And part of what I personally think is that this liberation was due to women not feeling like they knew themselves. There was no encouragement to know yourself, to know your body, to know your worth. And so this was a catapult to say, hey, you matter. You matter, and you can explore things, and it's okay. You shouldn't be judged. But in this time, women were still judged. So, how did women go from disagreeing to over sexualization to it being good? Well, how does anything in society begin to gain traction and get approval? Media. See, heavy promotion of sex was thrown out there into the ethers. You began to see sex scenes in movies, Playboy becoming more and more popular, erotic sex novels becoming popular, and thus our own sexual desires. But now we get to the point where I say, how has this backfired on women today? In my opinion, the sexual liberation movement has backfired on women today because people are just seeing us as sexual objects now instead of mothers and wives. And I feel that the movement was to prove that, yes, I can be a mother. Yes, I can be a wife. Yes, I can be extremely attractive and twerk if I wanted to, and that doesn't change the fact that I am a good mother and I am a good wife. It doesn't mean that because I show skin that I'm open to any and everyone. It just means I'm comfortable in my skin. The unfortunate truth is that the way you look is how people would treat you in society. So I guess I would have to say Yanni said it best.
That I see on Instagram, would I post it? No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't. Because I know how people are. This is the same girl that doesn't have an OnlyFans or a fans only because of how it looks. I'm a single woman. I take my dating life very seriously. Okay. And I don't like what that gives off. So I don't have a OnlyFans or a fans only. I also don't post certain pictures because once again, I take my dating life serious. Because you have men out here who think like this. And so because I'm weighing out my options and I want as many options as I can possibly get, I don't post that type of stuff. I'm more reserved. I'm also mysterious. You're not going to know all of my business because I want you to get to know me. If I'm posting everything,
So, in
showing
conclusion,
everything,
I
ain't much to
believe
get
that us as women have to take a step back and look at our image as a whole and see what sexual liberation for us looks like in the future and how it will affect our future and our possible children's future. Thank you for listening. Like, share, and subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you guys next week. Thank you.